What's up, movie freaks? Welcome to HERO LAIR. My name's Dan. These meatheads are Sean and Mario. We're going to check out trailer 1 for Dark Phoenix. There's no X-Men in this title. It just says...
No, it's just Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix.
Let's see it.
Let's check it out.
You think you can fix me?
Jean, you are not broken. The mind is a fragile thing. Takes only the slightest tap to tip it in the wrong direction.
Charles, what did you do?
I had to keep her stable. I protected her.
From the truth?
Look at...
There's another word for that. I came looking for answers.
You feel like you don't belong here. You don't. They can't begin to comprehend what you are.
She's changing.
And what?
You didn't come here looking for answers. You came here looking for permission. Jean. She's all rage, pain, and it's all coming out at once. Jean lost control, but she's still our friend. This is your fault, Charles. The world is on the brink. I'm sorry I didn't stop it sooner. You're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech, and nobody cares. There's still hope. Don't do this.
They're right to fear me.
I've seen evil. And I'm looking at it now.
All right. So,
Well, there's an X at the end of the titles.
yeah, it's almost like an X-Files.
Yeah.
But before we start the critique, raise your hand if you're actually looking forward to this movie.
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it too, but honestly, and I was hoping that this would get me excited to I'm there.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse is in the past.
Yeah.
Look at this, and it didn't rekindle my excitement for this series. To be honest with you, I was start with you.
I'm actually liking it because the thing is, there's two things. It's the two characters that really catch me in this whole new kind of reboot series are Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah.
Even here, they're just. I just love how even just as a character study from film, literature, anything you want to call it, just the way that they kind of flip flop on if there's good and evil and there's the line is they're both back and forth on the line, who's good, who's evil, who's it's that kind of saying of one man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter. They really kind of play that up, and just from that character arc, I really like it. So I'm a big fan of McAvoy. I think he's great. What's the actor who plays
Michael Fassbender?
Fassbender. I'm a big fan of his, and just the way that they kind of flip flop on that position, and they're the two anchor points of this new series for me. Mm-hmm. So just from that alone, I'm excited to see it. Okay. Again, I didn't grow up Marvel. Okay. You guys grew up Marvel. That's why your views are obviously quite often different than mine on this. I'm looking at this strictly X-Men has been a movie franchise for me. Okay. I've always kind of taken it in through what's his face?
Bryan Singer.
Through Bryan Singer's eyes, right? So I'm almost tainted by Bryan Singer.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Inappropriate.
Letters.
From the Bryan Singer.
Right into.
So did this reinforce your
just from because of the two characters. My two anchors are kind of still set and still in that in the same position they've always been in, and this seems to be upping the ante a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I think me and you were kind of a bad taste from Apocalypse.
I don't even think it's like the Apocalypse thing. The problem is everybody knows what's going on behind the scenes, right? So we know that Disney is buying the rights, right? So it's like they're setting up. This is like the first in a trilogy, right? But we know once Disney comes, because it's like you're a coach, a defensive coordinator, waiting for the new head coach to come.
Yep.
And you know your job's not certain. You know they're gonna clean house. Yeah. You know all these characters, so it's like you don't even want to set yourself up and watch something that you know is probably going to get totally dismantled and worked into the Marvel Universe. That's
in the back of my head. I didn't even think that this would get released, to be honest with you. I thought it was just because it got delayed and then reshot. I was like, are they even going to release this thing?
Yeah, and it's very frustrating because it's like all this build-up because you really wanted to see the X-Men in their costumes and being X-Men, and now finally we are getting it, and it's like we know that this is probably going to be the last one, and then we're going to get totally new X-Men, and then two, it's like you're using the storyline from X-Men 3, which was
that really came across to me too. I'm like, they're doing this again. Like he buried something when she was a child in her subconscious. Like, they're doing that again.
Yeah, and it's like the storyline and the timelines are so convoluted that you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Does it look good? Yes. Do I like where they're going? Because I hear they're gonna put Lilandra in there.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna happen. It doesn't look like it though.
That girl that was speaking the blonde one is supposed to be Lilandra.
Rumored to be, but it didn't seem that way.
I know, but it's like you're setting up all this stuff, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. So it's just like,
I know. Yeah. It's legitimately the end, which is why I kind of smiled once I heard the doors cover.
Yeah.
Because this is the end. This whole, the Fox universe, all this is getting redone, reintroduced in the MCU in a few years once the deal is officially stamped and approved and through government regulation and everything. So, that I definitely got. But I was still hoping for a second shot at the Phoenix story because they dropped the ball so bad in X-Men 3, The Last Stand. And I was like, all right, let's go to space, do the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
Just blow this thing out because you don't really have to worry about the next one because it's all getting redone under Marvel Studios proper. Just go crazy. But it looks like they're still sticking with a very, very grounded, normalized telling of it. And I'm like, well, how is it going to be any different than what we saw in X3? She's turning on people, destroying them. But if you don't have that Shi'ar element, then are we really just telling everything else? She's going to turn on Charles?
Well, this is the thing. And it's like you see the graves of the bodies, and it's like they're making it so it's like these are her friends that she's probably killing.
I think it's Mystique. I think Mystique does.
Yeah, because she wants to.
She's done. Yeah.
That's another thing. Yeah. It's like
I think Mystique's done.
Knowing that Mystique doesn't even want to be in the movie.
Yeah. And she's been such a character. And again, you're exactly right because this is from the stories that we know that we like that are better than what's been on screen.
Which is
it is a bias.
It's a bias, and the thing is, like, you gotta understand from from just a story arc perspective.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm being like a film student here, not like a thing. If you were to introduce mystical, magical elements to this last episode, it would completely distort how the casual viewer sees it, because they've invested so much time in this. As far as what movie is this? 7 in the series?
If you go all the way back to the first X-Men?
To the first X-Men.
X-Men 1, X2, X3.
Yeah. Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, 6.
6.
Not counting the Wolverine movie.
Yeah, not counting the Wolverine. So you got to be...
6
but there still is 6, and then the Wolverines still are a shared universe. Yeah. So you're talking 9 movies where you have a kind of a setting. You have like a grounded setting. If you were to add now a fantastical element outside, it would completely distort it for the casual viewer.
Even after Apocalypse?
Even after
Apocalypse was...
He definitely did, but it was the worst one.
It was.
And it was the worst accepted one. So you already see the writings on the wall that you're distorting the casual audience with that type of element. Yeah. So from a completely Bryan Singer universe that we're going with here, and how the X-Men has been perceived in the general public, by doing something like that, that would completely throw... You would have like guys like our friend Cole would be like, oh, what's this? You know, like nobody would ever accept it.
It does seem, but at least on that one scene, they are out in the atmosphere.
The plane does,
and they fly into what looks like the Phoenix Force, or the Phoenix Fire. They hit Phoenix Fire.
Yeah.
So is it just going to be such a vanilla thing where they're like, in a world where we've all seen 2 Guardians movies and Thor went to space, and they all made a ton of money.
Yeah, do you even want to start that fight?
Now, well, not that you want to start the fight, but it's like, are you like, well, let's just introduce... It's almost like they're going to do the Fantastic Four thing and make Galactus a cloud.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's not go too much. Let's make him a cloud. So we're going to go to space, and you're going to fly through... you know, it's good enough. That's pretty much what it is. It's good enough because they're scared to go one way, scared to go the other. Where Marvel's just been like, you know what, we're good.
Yeah,
here's a fucking talking raccoon.
But they introduced it early enough in the series. That's the thing. Is like we're still talking film 9 here.
That's true. Like, can you see?
You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing. Like, it's a film. Like, if you're introducing it in film, but even like from the first Avenger, you know what I mean? You still had like more mystical aspects to it, and then they went into space. By what time was that introduced? Like. Yeah. The Thanos at the end.
I totally get it. Yeah,
it's just, it just from a film perspective, a story from a story arc perspective, it would be utter chaos to do it.
But it's like, can you
still disappointing though?
Can you see? But can you see a Fox Gladiator?
No.
You know what I mean? Like Gladiators is like this big.
Yeah, they couldn't do the ridiculous true to version Shi'ar, but. Maybe some sort of. I was just hoping for
a watered down Shi'ar.
Yeah, then maybe I don't. Yeah. Then maybe I don't even. I barely want to see this Dark Phoenix. To be honest with you, I realize that that's me. Sticking on your point though, just as a cinematic universe has its own.
Yes.
I got some gripes with that too.
Okay.
Because I can't. I agree that the big, some of the great stuff in all these series has been the relationship of Professor X and Magneto.
Yep.
And you know it's reminiscent of Batman and
Joker and
so sometimes even Batman Catwoman, even though it's not necessarily a romantic relationship, but it's like, are you on the side or are you not, right? Because, but it's just been, I just don't know where it's going, and how can at the end of Apocalypse Magneto cause all that destruction, because that was him. Amplified by Apocalypse, but he destroyed cities, bridges, all through that movie. Yeah. And then there's a point in time at the end where him and Professor X are just talking like, well, Charles, good luck, and I'll see you later. And he doesn't have the helmet on, right? Like, Charles, just, you're too dangerous out there. You literally destroyed San Francisco and fucking whatever other cities you have. Like, you're too dangerous. He does it to, he puts something away in Jean's mind, but he doesn't do it to Eric and just lets him go again. Like, it's happened so many times. The amount of people that have died at the hands of Magneto. Yeah. And Charles doing nothing. How can you let that go? And then now you're back to talking again? And friendship, like, it just seems so redundant without actually having some type of conclusion. Or give me a reason why you couldn't do it. Like, if he had his helmet on all the time... then, what are you going to do? All you can do is talk to him. But he literally didn't have a helmet on. Yeah. And he killed so many people. And then now he just runs off to Genosha or Muir Island, wherever the hell island Magneto's at, that she shows up on.
And you can't say it's, like, ethically unsound because it's like you did it to Jean. Yeah. So it's like...
You've done this before.
Yeah. So what's the issue?
So that's a weakness from
that's definitely
the storyline of the thing. And it just, to me, it just gets... And like you said... Do I really? I'm going to go, like we all go and we watch these things, but I'm going into it, like you said, watching NFL games at the end of the season when everyone's already made the playoffs. Yeah. These games are just meaningless now. You're just going to watch. So maybe in that way, maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more, but at least just based on the trailer, what I'm seeing, there's nothing there to be like, oh, okay, we're going out. Yeah. It just, this compared to the X3 trailer, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be a lot of difference.
Well,
because we've seen her go nuclear.
It's got to be. Yeah, I see your point, but it's also saying what you're saying and saying how this is the end and the last movie. It's always from a cinematic perspective or from like a story perspective. Mm-hmm. It's good to finish on the same arc. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be... Like, again, you guys are very biased to your stories.
Extremely biased.
You're so biased to your stories, you're not seeing... it's hard for you to step back and see this as its own entity. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like anywhere else. Like, and I guess that's kind of something I can do because DC, growing up DC, you had, like, the Elseworlds, and you had, like, all these, like, single storylines where you had to kind of objectify yourself and go out of it and just kind of see this storyline as this storyline. Yeah. And that's how I see this as the X-Men in general, because it was taken away from Marvel at one point, copyright-wise, and this is its own life. It's its own entity.
Yeah, I get that.
So from its own entity and from being its own thing, it's good to kind of finish where you started or kind of have like a closing arc on your story.
Does it bug you that whatever uniforms they're wearing here are different than the kind of personalized uniforms that Apocalypse ended at? Because Apocalypse ends with all of them
having their
in
own,
a true comic suit, which has never been shown in any of the X-Men's before.
Yeah.
And then now they go, now they're first back to this. Yeah, at least reminiscent thereof. Yeah. And I think in new runs of the comics they have this X. But it's like, well, wait, just give us that.
Yeah, they are jumping back and forth, obviously, and again, there's definitely some
plenty. There's just plenty of inconsistencies.
Yes,
and I'm not like this guy. And I think that's more my frustration, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm on board. Like Days of Future Past, I loved, and that was a complete different tale and a restructuring of comic book Days of Future Past and cartoon Days of Future Past, which was actually the first time I ever noticed it. Yeah. But it was great. Because you saw the combination of both. There were some great elements put in there. Combat looked great. There were some other, even though Bishop didn't say anything, but I forgave it because there was enough that they were not scared to go in that direction. Right? X-Men Apocalypse, they were going. I think they tried to push it as best they could.
Yeah. Into a fantastical element.
But they just
they dropped it.
They just
dropped it.
They did drop it, right? And this, I was like, okay, just take some more chances, and I don't see a lot of chances being taken here. I just see a lot of retreads of the same sort of beats, both in a previous trilogy and the same old... Like, what's going to be new and nuanced in Professor X and Magneto's journey here? Like, honestly, I'm already kind of fed up with it. Like, what, Magneto's going to yell at Charles Xavier again? Shouldn't Charles be like, you killed all these fucking people? Don't yell at me. Yeah. Instead, he's giving him the line of... It's a cool line, where he's like, you're always sorry, Charles. Then there's a speech. And no one cares. It's like, but it's
that's where he's coming from. But that's the point. We saved the freaking world, and it was still treated like shit. It's like being a soldier going off to war. You're a black soldier going off to war, and you come back and you're called the N-word again.
Yeah, what the hell? That's kind of the point that what I'm talking about. The arcs of the two characters is that. They're painting Professor X as the bad guy in here. So it's like everything that you said up to this point now about Professor X and his inconsistencies, could they be seen as a character, as evilness in a character, for example? Yeah. And the fact that he is letting a relationship with Magneto skew his view and skew him from actually doing that. Mm-hmm. Could that not be evil? And this is seen, and this is kind of culminating here, because now you have Professor X, who's, trying to fix things and trying to keep a friend and trying to keep the school and trying to control everything, but it's kind of all snowballing to a fact that he doesn't know what he's doing. And could these things be seen as evil because of what he's allowed to happen, where he acted in certain places and didn't act in other places? And could that lack of action somewhere and action elsewhere be seen as an evil trait?
Sure. They covered this in X-Men 3, though. Yeah. That's really my thing, is that everything that's set up, the beats fall into X-Men 3 a lot. And, again, look, we're fans of this shit, so we fall into... overanalyzing a 2-minute fucking trailer. So
obviously.
We're going to go see it. But I just see a lot of the same beats without enough differentiation to get me excited. That's why I'm disappointed. And it's my own fault.
Well, it's not your fault by any stretch, but you're also a casualty to the. You're a casualty
having seen X-Men 3.
Of having seen X-Men 3. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people have just been introduced to these characters.
Hey, shout out to X-Men 3 turning people to dust before Thanos.
That's true. Yeah. And de-aged Patrick Stewart. And, yeah. Very cool. Anything else, guys?
No.
That's good? All right. Like I said, we'll be there. We'll check it out. This is the first initial 2 minutes. We'll see what.
Chime in who you agree with on this.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us a like. You can check out the Hero Lair podcast on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. Give us a like there. Really appreciate the support. I'll hang out with you guys again real soon. See ya.